Happy lunch hour, gang. Okay, Friday afternoon, and we're going to plod along with some of the stuff going on this week. Is MAGA souring on Donald Trump? Somewhat, yeah, and for good reason. You go back to the campaign, you could say whether it's 2024 or whether it was 2020. Promises made, promises kept, right? Not so much anymore. Now, there's some things that Trump has done that he promised us that we all voted for and we're happy about. Other ones, MAGA's getting a little pissed. Not that I'm jumping off the bandwagon or anything like that. I still believe Trump is a million times better sitting in the Oval Office than the cackling hen could have possibly been. But let's take a look at it. Now, all right, I'll give you the fact that we are deporting illegals. Not as fast as I'd like to see it, okay? And sure, you have all these leftist governors and activist federal judges putting a thorn into the side of anything that's being done. But we're still getting rid of illegals. All right, that's good. By doing that, we're getting rid of some of the crime. Okay, that's good. We got the BBB passed. Think of it as you may. As I said, there's some very good things in there. There's some that I'm not exactly happy about, i.e., we got the tax cuts, but gee, we raised the debt limit. Okay, and I talked about where to put money this morning, okay, because raising the debt limit is not going to do any of us any good. All right, so those are some successes. But let's talk about some abject failures at this point. Hello, Miss Pam Bondi. You need to be tossed, okay? I have all the Epstein files on my desk. Remember that a couple of months ago? Then this week we hear there's nothing to see here, nothing there. We have no list. Wait a minute. You told us you had the list. You know, Alan Dershowitz has come out and said he knows exactly who's on the list. He's just prohibited by a court order from mentioning it. Okay. So we have a cover-up. I don't remember voting for we're going to cover this stuff up. I seem to remember stories on the campaign. We're going to release the JFK files. We're going to release the MLK files. We're going to release the RFK files. We're going to release the Epstein files. Oh, but all of a sudden, sorry, you can't see those. No, we voted to see those. We want to know exactly who's on that list. There's one. Let's talk about Ukraine. I'm going to end the war in Ukraine on day one. We're, I don't know, day 180, somewhere thereabouts now. War in Ukraine's still going on. We're, the American public, all pissed off about sending money, our money, to Ukraine, our weapons to Ukraine. Not like we have any extra money to send. We're $37 trillion in debt. Not like we have any extra weapons to send. The Pentagon has already said we don't have enough weaponry to adequately defend the United States. And yet we're sending more money and weapons to Ukraine. I'll give you this. Ukraine has exactly a 0% chance of winning the war. No standard deviations there whatsoever. 0. It's a concrete figure. So the only thing we are doing by sending money and sending weapons there is prolonging the war. Right? Which means more Russians are killed, which means more Ukrainians are killed, which means more devastation to both countries' economies. Trump talking about putting more sanctions on Russia, and we all were like, we want out we want this to end. Stop sending money, stop sending weapons, let them fight their own problems. Right? Nope, that didn't happen. The war continues. We could talk about what's going on with Israel and the Palestinians. We could talk about Yemen. Netanyahu's out there urging Trump to start bombing Yemen to get rid of the Houthis. Just what we need. Another war. I thought we're not going to start a war president. We don't know what's going on with Iran. I guarantee you Iran's not going, well, they bombed a bunch of our nuclear facilities, so we're just going to stop. Guarantee that ain't happening. Okay. So there's a silent war being planned. Let's talk about draining the swamp. Right? We've heard this for 9 years now. Drain the swamp, drain the swamp, drain the swamp. We've had some pros. Tom Tillis said he's retiring because he knows he's going to get his ass handed to him if he tries to run for re-election. John Cornyn will probably get kicked out of Congress when Ken Paxton slaughters him, notwithstanding the fact that his wife is divorcing him for biblical reasons, which basically tells me one of the two of them is cheating on the other. Okay. No. One of the most despised Republicans in the Senate is Lindsey Graham. Definitely a swamp creature. I mean, there's plenty of Democrat swamp creatures, but Lindsey Graham is pretty much, he's up there with Liz Cheney and Adam Kinzinger. Let's put it this way. He's the B team for being a RINO. And for some reason, yesterday, Trump endorsed Lindsey Graham in his re-election bid for 2026. Let me give you some of Lindsey Graham's greatest hits, tweets. Let's read a couple of these to you. Donald Trump is not a conservative Republican. He's an opportunist. He's not fit to be president of the United States. Lindsey Graham. Let's go back a couple of years. If Donald Trump is the GOP nominee for president, we'll get slaughtered in November of 2016, and frankly, we deserve it. How about this one? If Donald Trump is carrying the conservative banner, not only do we lose the election, but we'll be unable to grow the conservative cause. How about this one? I don't think Donald Trump is a Republican. I don't believe he's a conservative. I think he would destroy the party I care a lot about. Okay? And I can go on and on and on. South Carolina, hopefully, is smart enough to toss Lindsey Graham out on his fat little ass. Why Trump is supporting his re-election, I have no freaking idea. Are there qualified people primarying him? Yup. Okay. That are true MAGA Republicans. And I say that as we are different. Make America Great Again is not about a man. It's about a mentality. Trump promised us to make America great again. He's done it in some respects. He's failing in others. I'm not an Elon Musk fan. I will tell you this right now. One of the stupidest things I've seen recently is Elon Musk coming out this week with his America Party. And if you look at who some of the people are that want to be part of it, Adam Kinzinger, Scaramucci, Schwarzenegger, Liz Cheney, Mike Pence, rhino after rhino after rhino. No, sorry. We could talk about we need to bring the country back to the center. Moderates, right? Yeah. I'm center right. Libertarian would pretty much be the way I'd say I probably most closely aligned to. Constitutionalist would be a very appropriate way. But some of this stuff has got to be fixed. We had promises made to us. Not a whole lot of promises are being kept. Told you guys a long time ago, I'm no fanboy. I don't just follow somebody because, oh, that's what he said. I'm not a liberal. I'm not a Democrat. I don't just toe the party line. I actually objectively think, research, and analyze everything. Some of the things that Trump has done gets very high marks from me. Some of the other ones are massive failures. I know a lot of people will say, oh, you're just bailing on him. No, I'm still giving him the opportunity. I understand that his ideas, sometimes he's playing a couple of moves ahead of everybody in the chess game. But I want to start seeing results. I haven't seen Pam Bondi do anything other than hair and makeup for a Fox News interview. I really haven't seen a whole lot out of Kash Patel or Dan Bongino. Okay, we're not seeing a whole lot of arrests at all. Haven't seen a single person in Washington in handcuffs yet. Nope. Still seeing money going to Ukraine or to Israel. That's not working for me. Okay. We want this country to change for the better. Kamala Harris couldn't have done any of it. Just qualify that once again. We would be in a world of hurt if she was in the White House. But who has what on Trump? I mentioned this morning I didn't like the announcement of tariffs right after the close of the post market yesterday. I didn't like the fact that Eric and Don Jr. announced buying a whole bunch of Bitcoin and then that running the price of Bitcoin up. Now, they can announce whatever they want. But I don't like the fact that Nancy Pelosi insider trades. I don't want to see the current occupant of the White House profiting off of his position or manipulating the market to profit off of his position either. Maybe you'd say I'm grasping at straws at some of these things I'm looking at. But optics mean a lot. Maybe that is what you're doing. Maybe it's not. But if the perception of the public is you aren't doing what you promised us you'd do, then you need to go back to the drawing board, fire some of these people who are advising you, and start listening to us. Pinball out.